safety committee meeting published, so if another board member can go to the safety committee meeting.
It's not a public, it's not a board committee.
Oh,
But you can always go and
So
sit
you
in
and
because
me,
you're just
are
going to
you
sit in
going?
and listen.
Yeah.
You wouldn't
Are
be
you
listening.
going? Stephanie, I am now.
Yeah, you can go do that.
Yeah.
Just don't sit within the group so that somebody say, oh, there's
Look at
4
the
board
microphone.
members.
Just speak. Joe, I brought
We're
you
going
things.
to.
Oh, I know.
I was thinking of that.
I brought it. Don't let
Today,
me
I'm like,
forget.
oh, I think I walked right by that.
Shoot.
That's a lot. Maybe I'll go first.
Nutritional plan.
We're going to, we're starting a new one, and we're gonna do some days. So we're going with the league.
I'd like to call to order this January 27th North Scott School Board meeting to order. Everybody please join us in the Pledge of Allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay, looking for a motion to approve the agenda.
So moved.
Second.
Okay, it's been moved and seconded to approve the agenda. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion passes. Any comments or suggestions from the citizens today?
Welcome to Donahue. It's always good to see you.
Good
to see you too.
Tony.
Good to be here.
Anybody else? And if anybody that's watching would like to provide any comments for us, you can reach us online, reach out to Mr. Stedding, and he'll pass those on to us. Okay, consent agenda. Looking for a motion.
Motion approved. Second.
It's been moved and seconded to approve the consent agenda. Any comments or questions? All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion passes. Okay, recognition.
Yeah, we had some honored orchestra kids. We have Lydia Peatfish and Brennan Raddick, Charlie Connor, Elena Owen, Ryan Squires, Sage, how do you say that? Yes. Thank you. Is it Dina?
Oh, yeah.
Lisa Clark, Michaela Miller, Sophia Grunwald, Jacina Webb, Elise Jacobs, Lise Pins, and Adeline Hoppy are all were honors choir, our orchestra. So congratulations to them.
Oh, that's wonderful. Okay, Jill, bills?
Yep, this evening I have $981,087 worth of bills presented for approval for payment. I've highlighted a payment to the AEA for $85,262.80. We now have to forward on the 90% flow through for special ed funds. That's a little different than what we've done in the past, so that's that monthly payment. A payment to Bettendorf Schools for $62,510 for tuition out for first semester of open enrolled out students. And then a payment to the Iowa Department of Human Services for $12,130 for our state Medicaid match for Medicaid funds that came through. Thank you.
I moved to approve the bills.
Second.
Okay, it's been moved and seconded to pay the bills. Are there any questions for Jill? All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion passes. Health insurance.
And the health insurance, small reports in there. We're really looking at renewal time. We're gonna be between 2% and 5%. We want one more month of data. We have no really large claims where we get reinsurance, but we had more 50,000 to maybe 70,000 claims and seeing how that works out. But to be honest, in this day and age, a 2.5% to 5% is a really low increase in the health insurance. So, and that's coming off of 2 years of 0. So it's favorable for us.
They are very good at spelling that out for us too. I know.
And our employees do a good job. They're consumers. They're not just users of insurance, and so we have to thank our employees who use the health insurance to be a consumer.
Very much so. Thank you for that. Erin, the John Glenn presentation.
Yes.
Erin and the gang.
Yes. So we are so excited to share with the board and our community members who are here about one of our building goals, which has been to increase and implement peer coaching experiences in our building. So we're gonna share a little bit about our journey today, and I just wanna say before we start how proud I am always of our staff for their growth, for their collaboration, and a special thanks to our building leadership team. This, at the beginning of the year, I was at a couple different meetings and they were saying, what's your highlight this year? And I celebrated this team for the things that they have done together, and I just think that we've come a long way. So I want to give these folks who are a portion of our building leadership team a chance to introduce themselves. Again, I'm Erin Thiessen, the principal.
I'm Megan Delaney. I teach pre-K 5 here at John Glenn. Sherry Mackler. I teach reading recovery and primary intervention for little kids.
And I'm Shanna Robinson. I'm the instructional coach.
I'm Brooke Cruz, and I'm the school counselor.
So this is kind of our presentation for today, and so we will start with where we started, where we are, where we plan to go, and then share with you some things that our teachers are saying about our experience. So where we started, oftentimes when I'm asked to speak about the growth of our building, I talk about how we're always striving to improve our building in 3 different areas. So fostering a positive culture of collaboration for all. Also refining our systems and structures to maximize our resources, and then finally improving instruction to increase student achievement. And when all those things are working together, that's when we're able to see the progress that we have been seeing. So some of the things that we have done to water the seeds for our journey, which you'll notice a little theme going on here, if you haven't already. So some things that our building leadership team has done to be really intentional about building our collaborative culture, building trust amongst ourselves as a team, and then modeling that, taking it to staff. Being mindful of our intentional energetic presence, that's something that we have studied as a team, and making sure that we are bringing forth the energy that we want to have reflected back to us for not only our colleagues but also our students. We've done a book study, actually, the Energy Bus, as a part of our culture building. And then for this peer coaching experience specifically, last year we really integrated ongoing coaching opportunities in each of our Friday early outs and our building PD times on district PD days, where teachers were partnered up together, watching themselves through video clips or hearing through audio clips of delivering instruction that was specific to the professional learning that we were engaged in as a staff. So for example, we focused a lot on engagement, and then we focused on the language that we use during explicit instruction, and talked about how we give effective feedback. Now we're talking about questioning, but those were the things that we would then ask teachers to come back the next time we met together with a clip of them, for example, providing effective feedback. They would then partner up with someone that they felt comfortable with, we were mindful of that, and engaged in a protocol to give one another feedback on that. So we kind of built that up along the way. We're always working to refine our systems. We've worked in our building to realign our committees to make sure that every committee is purposeful. We've talked before with the board about how we've improved our layered intervention meetings. And then really this team specifically, when we have refined our MTSS system and our building leadership team, we really delved into making sure that we were looking at data, making systematic plans together. So that's another system that we've refined. And then lastly, I already kind of mentioned the things that we've studied about instructional practices to help all. So those are some of the things that we have done along the way to reach our goal that we're going to talk more about today.
So last year, the building leadership team was engaged in the process of kind of growing together, learning how to analyze data together. And by the end of the year, we were tasked with developing goals for our school improvement plan. But as we were in that journey, one thing that came up was this notion of peer coaching and being able to get back to that, something that had happened prior, as a way to really build our capacity and be able to see what others are doing, because that's a very powerful practice. So the building leadership team members actually grouped themselves into groups of 3 triads, and they did go around, we provided coverage so that they could go around and see each other teach. And so teachers were invited in to say see a specific thing that somebody wanted them to see, they were told ahead of time, hey, if you could watch for this, this is kind of what I'm working on, just as a way to improve. And then they were given a little time to provide feedback to one another. And that was just BLT members. The second round of that last spring, we actually had some BLT members intentionally pull a few other staff members into that experience as well. So we're building these little blocks along the way where we're all working together, looking at clips of our teaching or listening to them. We're getting the building leadership team involved in peer coaching, and then we brought a couple other people in, which led to then the development of our goal that 100% of our staff would engage in 2 peer coaching rounds in this academic year.
Okay, so as you may have caught on, we love a good theme here. And so the way we wanted to kind of build the excitement around our theme and our building goal this year was to really frame it around the idea of growing together and collaborating together. So that was really central to our theme, and then we really incorporated the idea of flowers. So we really wanted to spread that message and create that culture really early on in our school year this year. So we have some examples of some things we did throughout the school year to kind of launch the school. So the first thing we did really early on before the school year started was creating these bulletin boards, talking about growing together, creating great minds, growing here, to really create that language of what our building goal was. So we started with that. And then later for Halloween, our entire staff framed our goal and our theme around gardening and flowers. So everyone dressed up. We also had signs talking about growing here or something similar to that. And so through our parade, our community was also able to see what our goal was looking like within our building. And then another example Erin actually did. She gifted everyone in our building for the holiday season these forever flowers. So they're in our classrooms, and it really symbolizes the idea of growing and collaborating together in a safe environment, and it kind of prepared us for our peer coaching that we would do when we returned back from break. So now I'll hand it over to Megan.
Yeah. Okay, so where we are, I'll take this. We just wanted to be really intentional about the peer coaching that we were involved in. So this was kind of our taking it to the staff portion of our peer coaching journey. So, never used this before. The one that's gone. Yes. Uh-oh. I gotcha. Okay, so the first thing that we did, so our building leadership team and our teacher leaders kind of partnered up together, and we created these open door policies. So creating spaces where anyone is welcome to come in. If you want to see, especially with our new math curriculum this year, that was a big thing that we talked about. If you want to see how a math lesson is implemented, if you have questions about classroom management or whatever it is, just creating that open door. You are always welcome in our rooms, and that kind of launched us into that peer coaching cycle.
Okay, so in order to prepare for our first peer coaching cycle, we had to do a little bit of legwork, a little bit of groundwork. We had teachers decide on a partner that they would sign up with, somebody that they wanted to engage in this process with. The BLT members then went around and literally just picked blindly and joined a team in that way. That way it was just very like randomized control study. As a triad, so that we could have the triads. We pulled out peer coaching forms, protocols that we had in the past, and then there was a lot of logistic work behind the scenes. We had to get schedules so that we could have groups go into different places, so working on coverage. So that takes time, that takes effort, trying to make that all work over 2 days. And then it also takes money because we did pull in subs, but we felt that that was definitely worth the time and the money to give this experience to everyone. So every triad was engaged in a protocol that is linked in, and you could click on that to see what that looked like if you wanted to at a later time, with specific steps outlining when to let people know what it is they're coming in to see, give them just a tiny bit of background, let them know what you're working on and what you'd like feedback with. And then at the end of that triad, as they traveled around, then they had a little time to collaborate and talk with one another and provide that feedback, receive that feedback, and grow together. I'll figure that out later. Okay. In addition to this, we're building in reflection for that first round. So we finished our peer coaching cycles this past week. We're going to next Friday then give teams time to actually engage in some reflection together. So this is different than the feedback portion. This is just really an opportunity to reflect on the process itself. Like, how did that go? How did we grow together? What did we learn? What might we do to improve the process? So that will be additional data that the BLT team is looking forward to as we work on scheduling then the second round of peer coaching observations, which will happen in Tri 3.
Oh, okay. So we're gonna end up doing another round of peer coaching observations. See that? Just gonna do the other one first. It's okay. So we're gonna use the same protocol for this next round of peer coaching observations. Hopefully we're gonna take some of the information from the overall reflection about the process and be able to use that to make any tweaks or changes that would make sense for our group. And then again, we're gonna have some more time to reflect on how the whole process happened, especially being able to compare the first one to the second one, and if it still worked as well as we hoped.
All right, and then what teachers are saying. So obviously I'm a classroom teacher, and so I got to participate in the peer coaching rounds. Me personally, I was with our kindergarten teacher and our third grade teacher. And just from my experience, it was just so good to get back into the other people's classrooms and see their passion for kids and their passion for meeting learners where they're at. What was unique about our triad, we all did math. And so going from the pre-K to the K level, we happened to be working on the same thing. So it was nice for Courtney to be able to kind of see where my kids are at and the building blocks that they have, then going to kindergarten, and then coming down to third grade, just seeing where they go, and all of those foundational skills that they have to have. And when talking with others, it was just people in their element, seeing teachers in their element, seeing teachers interacting with kids and those relationships that they have built all year long. Just lots of positives and lots of smiles and giggles coming out of those rooms. So it was very nice.
It's kind of odd when you think about it that we work next door to all of these people every day, and yet the opportunity to actually see someone in action in the classroom hardly ever exists. So,
and in those authentic settings where you're gonna have things pop up and you're gonna have to move and shake on the fly, and so it was very refreshing to see that in other rooms. So.
You talked about the element. We just, at our staff meeting yesterday, some teachers spoke about that. And yes, that was one piece, being able to see others in their element, being able to hear the instructional language that teachers used. Teachers felt that that was very valuable because we can always take these little nuggets, apply them to our own setting, and get better outcomes. So they just appreciated the opportunity.
And we even talked about like confirming what we thought we were doing, and just having those other set of eyes to kind of go, oh yes, that is happening, and this is how I know that. To confirm that, yes, please doing that, please keep doing it, but then there's a little tweak that you might consider.
yeah. My triad was with the librarian and the art teacher, and coincidentally enough, the librarian and I both picked the same class, so we had first grade, and kind of reflecting with her, she said it was really awesome to see that group of kids in my room in a different environment and seeing how I can engage them in that setting, and it kind of helped her get some ideas on how to engage them in her environment. So talking with her about that was really cool. So overall, I feel like we built to this moment intentionally, and this was a desire that was expressed. It was something that the building was doing prior to COVID shutdown, which was also prior to when I came here. But I know that this was something that we wanted to get back to, and once we were able to grow through and build up those three facets, we just knew that this was the next step, and so we're really excited to have had the opportunity. And so if you have any questions, we're happy to help answer them.
So you keep the same triad the whole year for both
That decision will be made once we
Okay.
get the reflection
Gotcha.
forms back, so the VLT will have conversation. We kind of went back and forth,
Okay.
how do we wanna structure
So
those?
probably, even if you kept them the same this year, then maybe next year you would shuffle them up a bit. I think that shows the trust that you have, because you're vulnerable to let
Yes.
yourself be criticized by each other or complimented, and it just says a lot about you guys. And by the way, do you all have flowers on today?
Yeah.
Nice.
I
I noticed.
We were gonna wear our Halloween
I
costumes.
noticed.
Somebody wanted me to bring my flower bags.
I appreciate that.
I was a queen bee.
It sounds like a lot of fun and a lot of great learning, so.
Oh,
Shelley.
Shelley was the lead.
So time has gotta be an issue, right?
That was
Time.
one of the hardest things. I was working with another VLT member that's not here tonight, just on figuring out the logistics of the scheduling. So once the classroom or the teachers partnered up and chose which area of instruction they wanted, then it was looking at our master schedule and looking at, when is that chunk of time in their day and when does it work for this, and then coordinating it with the VLT members and then also adding coverage. So it was a lot of logistical things, but at the end of the day, it was worth every minute, so.
Well, that says a lot to your commitment, And words that popped out to me, and this is true down here, is energy. You're all energetic. The engagement and the trust, as Tracy said, and you're building culture in a very positive way. And I love what you're doing, you guys. Thanks for doing it, because when you get that kind of energy, you take it to your classrooms, and they can feel. And I know Miss Megan does that to my granddaughter's classroom.
She is.
Got
I
so
get
much
Miss Tegan
energy.
every day.
No, you have too much energy. We know she does. But
Yes.
I appreciate all you're doing. Thank you so much. It's awesome.
Any other questions?
Thank you guys.
I was just
Thank
one
you.
comment
Oh,
too
yes.
about, we have a lot of new teachers that come through, and hopefully, obviously, we still have, keep getting new teachers in, but I think this is such a great and unique system to be able to,
Share.
coordinate with them and share and have them, bring them into the fold, so.
I think something that's unique about our building as well is we have a lot of shared staff too.
Yeah.
So we have a lot of shared, our special areas are shared, not interventionists, but our special ed. And so just building those relationships as well and keeping those is just really important to us. So this was just another way to kind of strengthen that.
And that will be hard to do.
That also made it hard to schedule,
I
yes.
just saw that when you put
We were
that.
like, what days are they
Yeah.
here? What, morning, afternoon?
So if you had to ask for the school board, what would your ask be relative to this type of?
I'll let
Or
you.
something.
Do the early outs help you give you time that you can go through your reflections and such?
Yeah.
That help?
Yep. So we meet once a month, well, twice a month actually, as a BLT team, to plan these things and to go through those. So we will use our PD time here in a couple weeks to go over those reflections as a BLT team and kind of determine our next steps for that.
Yeah, I would say that the Friday early outs, to not only add the teacher work time, but those first Fridays have been integral in our ability to gain momentum with our building professional learning. So we're always really intentional about selecting a topic that any teacher can benefit from. So that's why we've selected things like engagement strategies, effective feedback, questioning, because no matter what you teach, what grade level you teach, that's going to be something that if you build that up, it's going to impact students. And so this is just, because we've had that monthly and then sometimes even more than once a month with the PD day, that's enabled that to take off. And then having this peer coaching is really able to have people see it brought to life. So we tried to do some of that, and I think we did a good job last year bringing it to life with now you come and you have yourself delivering feedback, and we're going to give feedback on your feedback, but to actually see it play out in person, I think is another level.
How many days did you have to get subs?
We did it in one day, we had
Sure.
2 full day subs, and then another day we had 1 full day sub and a half day sub.
So they just rotated.
Yeah, we had them.
And bless their hearts for being so
They were very
flexible
flexible.
because their schedules were really crazy.
We were very
So-
careful about which subs we worked to
Yes.
recruit
Yes.
to, so that they would be familiar with that, and
And they rocked it. It was great.
yeah.
Erin, did you make all those flowers?
I did.
Those were cool.
I know.
Crafty.
Great.
Might
She even
help
threw
me.
in, if you've ever been in this building, there's a lot of Green Bay Packer fans in this building.
Yeah.
And so she
Oh,
even made
yeah.
some Packer
Oh,
flowers.
I did, there's some back there.
I said there's some right behind you.
Oh, that's so cute.
Oh, my
We had some.
gosh.
Very, very.
I would have answered the question, what can the board do or the district do, is we prioritize investing in people, investing in our teachers, whether it's the TQ sending to national conferences or hiring subs. So even as the budgets get tighter, you have to, we're in the people business, or, you know, and so we have to continue to prioritize investing in our people. And it would be easy to go, listen, there's just shortage of subs, or money's getting tight, we're not doing this, stay in your classroom, you know, because an elementary schedule's tight.
Right.
The other thing is, I know they mentioned Louis, and remember, their results for their kids have dramatically gone up in this building too. And so all the things they're doing, this being one of them, has had an impact. What we want is, how does this impact student success? Well, they're showing they're impacting student success, so good job.
So true.
Yeah.
Very
Thank
good.
you.
I'll do like one little research nerd thing, but like John Hattie, who I'm a big fan of, he does a meta-analysis of all the different things and strategies that teachers or buildings can implement and its impact on student achievement. And the highest overall, all the time, is collective efficacy. And that is what we are building together as a staff, is the belief that together we can impact every child. And that belief in and of itself is always at the top of his list, so.
That's wonderful.
Here are the things that I love your creativity.
Yeah.
One of the things that we typically also ask is are other buildings doing this and sharing? And although, you know, they would have a different theme of other, there's, you know, Grissom is also one section. And although it may be a totally different theme, a totally different environment, but you set up a lot of structures, I think, that they could reuse. So any discussions there about maybe something that would help them just from a structure and a timing and a scheduling and, you know, kind of the bones of it, and they, you know, they put their own flavor on it, but
Yeah.
any discussions that are open to that?
That's an awesome question, because I'm all about building capacity, and so this is a part of our comprehensive school improvement plan, and each building has their own comprehensive school improvement plan. This was one of the things that we worked into ours. I'm hopeful that over the summer, we're able to work as an admin team and talk through, so here was our plan, these were our goals, this is how we rolled it out, and here were the results, so that we can build that capacity. Also, I know that this is not specific to these peer coaching with 100% of teachers, but I know that it has been a goal area to make the teacher leadership positions, the TLs, the teacher leaders at the elementary level, really getting back towards that model classroom experience and that sort of a role. And so I'm hopeful that some of the things that we have worked through here can also be used for all teacher leaders throughout the elementary level.
Well, thanks for putting the work in. Clearly, you created a model that's successful and
It went really well for the first
Yeah.
round. We're happy. We just finished it last
All of you
last
have.
week.
Wonderful.
It's great to see.
Thank you.
Thank you, guys.
Yeah. Thank you so much. I appreciate it. Thank you. Now go home.
Go home.
Thanks again.
Thank you, guys.
Okay, moving on to the approval of the 2024-25 school district audit.
Thank you. So for anybody that wasn't here before, this being the Finance Audit Committee, we met before the board agenda to have the opportunity to go over the audit a little bit more in detail and have question and answers. But we do have Sarah Bonsack from Bonsack and Baumelt to give some highlights for the June 30th, 2025 audit, and then I'll ask for approval.
The highlights of the audit were that the financial statement audit was issued an unmodified opinion. The district did implement a new standard this year, which was fairly significant to your financials. The government auditing standards audit, where we look at internal controls and compliance with laws and regulations, there were no findings. For the federal single audit, this year the district expended about $3.8 million of federal funds. We were required to audit the Community Project Fund grant, which was about $2 million of that. And there were no findings in relation to that grant. And anything that we did find through that process was corrected by the district. And we want to thank Jill and her entire team. When we do come out, it is rather rigorous, I guess, would be a good description. We bring out quite a few people, and we spend pretty much the better part of a week out here.
Yes, thank you. Thank you both for
Thank you, guys. Thank you.
sharing that with us ahead of time as
Yes.
well and explaining it to us. Does anybody have any questions about our audit? We've been looking-
Just thank you, Jill, for
Oh, yeah.
doing such a fabulous job, you and your team. You
Looking for
especially.
a motion to approve.
Make a motion to approve the 24-25 school district audit.
Second?
It's been moved and seconded to approve the district audit. Does anyone have any other comments or questions? Okay, all those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion passes. Thanks again.
Thank you.
Okay, lighting.
Yeah, we have accepting the bid from Elite Lighting for $3,135.73 for a student-built home. I would also just remind you that we're now building for an owner, so it's,
Oh, yeah.
so we're working with an owner now when we're purchasing stuff for the home.
Are they
now
able
that
to-
it's sold.
Are they able to pick things?
They are, yeah. There's been some changes.
Do they pay for
Some
them
on their
beforehand?
own, yeah. Some of their high-end changes, like the wood flooring and things, because he's in the flooring business. He's doing it, showing our kids how to do it, but he's doing those stuff. And so it's great to sell the house, it just gets a little bit more complicated.
I'm sure it
So,
does.
yeah, when you have the owner.
Well, even more learning that the kids are gonna have to do when they get older anyway,
Yeah,
right?
yeah,
Be
sure.
with homeowners. Joe, did you get 2 bids for this?
That I don't know.
Okay.
He just
We ask for
provided
that every
one.
time and we don't always see it.
Yeah,
so.
I know. I'll mention that.
I motion to approve the Elite Lighting bid.
Second.
Okay, it's been moved and seconded to approve the Elite Lighting bid. Any other questions or comments?
What I would say now is, we may not have that happen anymore.
Right,
Since we're buying for the
exactly.
owner.
Yeah.
That may change it now that we're not building the spec home,
Okay.
so.
They might want a specific.
Makes sense.
Yeah, they may just say
And they'll pay for the
specifically and
difference.
pay the difference if it was more than
Okay.
we would have put in.
Right.
Some, just like I said, it gets
Yep.
more awkward when you have an owner.
Okay. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion passes. Okay, the annual review.
It's just the annual review of the policy that we have to do every year, and just reminder, last year we did a phenomenal job on this because we did our strategic plan, not only including SiAC, but a lot of community input and staff input on our long-range plan for the district. I think she put a motion, it's just the annual review, you don't even have to, it needs to be on a board agenda, so you see. Does she have approval?
It says
Okay.
vote on
Then
it. Okay.
approve it. There you go.
Looking for a motion.
Motion approved. Second.
Been moved and seconded. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion passes. Okay, Mr. Studding.
Yeah, I have the legislative update Day on the Hill, one and the same, and I'd ask board members to chime in. That went to, I thought it was a great day on the Hill. About the only thing we really learned right now that's happening is leadership with the governor's supposed to meet this week, and potentially SSA would be talked about, whether they get it settled. But clearly, the pipeline and property tax is taking up most of the time down there. I mean, there's lots of bills coming out. It just doesn't mean there's a lot happening with anything. They're on record to even have more bills this year on education than they did last year, and they set a record last year. But that doesn't mean they're all going to make it through. You know, there's bills we're watching, like this week came out having a year's worth of history or worth of government. Well, the problem with that is, it sounds like, oh, that'd be, you know, all kids should take a year's worth of government. Okay, what are they not gonna take then? Or are you gonna add that to it? So you can add here without adding staff, which nobody's really in a position to add staff. That means something else has to be taken less. And so it isn't as easy as necessary. So there's lots of bills like that. But in the end, the energy right now at the Capitol is carbon pipeline and property tax. It would be wonderful if a leadership could come to agreement and get SSA over with in the 30 days, but most people say don't hold your breath. It could be well after March when we do our budget.
Wow. Anybody that was able to go wanna chime in? Frank,
It was a great day. We got
Stephanie,
to-
and Carrie, yeah.
We
Thank
had to
you
see a
guys.
lot and visit with a lot of our representatives, so it was great.
Elected
Yeah.
officials, yeah. Thank you guys for
Yeah.
representing for
you.
us. Frank,
And
you
the
were there a
lieutenant
little bit
governor.
early and a little late.
Late?
You're a little late. Now, I think, Joe hit it on the head. It's too early for anything to really come out, even though they had bills running already. They've already had subcommittees the very first day. So I think they're trying to prepare. It was the pipeline bill. It's already been passed out of the House. It's over to the Senate, so that's just going to sit there for a while. But I still think, I don't think we're going to see SSA very quickly before either property tax or eminent domain gets through. I think
It's always a
those are the top
challenge.
two.
Yeah, well, the governor came out with 2% in her speech, which was better than it was last year. But as far as I know, the House or the Senate really has not come out with a number. We're hearing the Senate is going to go over 2%. We're hearing the House is going to go 0, or the Senate would go 0.
Backwards.
The House would probably be 3%, let's say, which is what they typically do, and they end up settling on 2%, which is what we've settled on for I don't know how many years in a row. The question is when will they get to it, for it. It would be nice if you ever had a session where there wasn't a major bill that would take up all the time. It was the AAs a few years ago. There's always seems to be a bill that comes out that pushes our budget down on priority, even though technically the law says in 30 days they're supposed, from the governor's speech, they're supposed to give us that number.
And they all know that because they brought it up to us.
In the end, for us, for our budgeting, it's 1%. So they would have to get above 3%, which there's no indication there'd ever be above 3%. So we already know we can budget for 1%. But there's other things that have a potential positive impact for us, and there's some other things that have a negative impact if they do. So, but we know we can budget for 1% new money.
And Senate's really going for 0%.
They always start at 0%.
They're looking at 0.
They'll say, between 0 and 1.
Yeah.
They're gonna.
But they
If
also
I had to
know-
bet, we're gonna settle at 2%.
They also know that going lower, it puts more schools on the budget guarantee, which raises property taxes.
And the governor has a proposal that it's $47 million. At 2%, there's a $47 million guarantee, which means that's a $47 million throughout the state of Iowa as a property tax increase. She's proposing the state pick up that $47 million, but then I heard that's part of her 2%. So in reality, we're not getting 2%. The only nice thing is that would happen for us is, assuming we wouldn't have to pay back that amount of money the following year, because this year will be 1% held harmless, but the following year we won't be, we're gonna be down, more than likely down kids again, we'll be less than 1%. So maybe that would help the following year's budget not be as bad. But state of Iowa's down 7,700 students.
Yeah, that's crazy.
And they know this year's senior class graduating will be 10,000 more than the kindergarten class coming in. That's the birth rate. That it isn't an issue for our district, something we're causing. It isn't, we're losing kids to the private sector. We're talking private, public together is down 7,700 kids.
Senior class is
Yeah.
small compared to the unemployment schools.
There's a dip of coming through, and for us it'll be 9 years, barring families moving in. Our district could see difference, but that's just the facts of Iowa's younger population right now. Yeah.
And Joe, you haven't heard anything on the federal waiver that the state of Iowa got?
Well, we got the
The very first
waiver,
one,
but
so.
we don't get very much money in those categories anyway. It's not, what was the total, $8.3 million? In reality, it's not a lot of money for that grant to come in that way. It may free up some, but if they free up some accountability there and some reporting there, the Department of Ed has not done that on their end. We have more reporting today than we did a year ago. A lot more reporting today. So, yeah, I'd love to see the state take that same stance. Let's try to lower down the reporting and the amount of hours put into it.
True. Anybody else have anything they'd like to add? Okay, thanks again for those of you that were there to represent us. Joe, the PEPL presentation?
So I did just put the date on there, but I also brought the presentation I'm working on, and I really just wanted to point out, the reason I brought it is it could have came across the last time I talked that the rate increase would be, it would be the $134 and that $11 a month. Well, we already have 97 cents. So we're already at $8 a month. We're not asking for a $1.34 increase. It's a 37 cents per 100,000 increase. And so it's really $3. If we pass it, it's a $3 per month increase for every $100,000 of valuation. That's taxable valuation. So
Right.
assessed value,
Which is
yeah.
about half.
Yeah. Right now it's just about half of your assessed value, but you pay tax on is about half. And so for that, I just really wanted. That's why I brought this for you. One, for you can see what I'm looking at presenting, the why, well, how it would impact. But I really wanted to point that out. And I know the paper would be here just to make sure that comes across really clear. Because I didn't want it to be left that we're asking for $1.34. We're not asking for $1.34 by going to the full amount. It's 37 cents.
And then you'll do this presentation on February 8th.
Oh, yep. You betcha. And look at it. If you think there's something else, hey, we should be thinking about adding that. I tried to simplify it. I took an old one, and I thought it was actually too much for there. I mean, I can go on and on about increased cost and what we do and all that stuff, but you really want to simplify it. It's really, to me, to answer people's questions when it comes to it. So, yeah.
Thanks for writing that.
And
down.
it's 50% of everyone who comes and votes plus one?
Correct.
Okay.
Yes. Yeah.
Not
This is
50% of the registered voters?
No. It's who votes that day.
Okay.
Yep.
Right. You might want to put a little article in the paper.
We will.
Okay.
We will. Oh yeah. We'll do.
Okay, I thought you would.
We'll send something home to all of our parents
Right.
and all that stuff. Yeah.
Right.
We'll do more than just one
Right,
presentation. We betcha. And then the public forum dates. We're going to be back out here next Monday night, an hour before Donahue City Council. Have a good conversation with the city and any public that shows up there, and you can see the other dates. And then I always, we're getting close to that time of year where March is kind of a weird month because we go really the first, is that Monday, right?
Yeah.
I think it's first Monday. That's the finance work session. The reason that one's always been early is because, well, especially with the new state laws of having the two meetings. So as soon as we get back from spring break, we have that public meeting on the 30th. And so basically our budget really has to be done on March 2nd of what we present to you. We have a little bit of time to adjust, but by the time we go on spring break, we're there because you can go down, but you can never go up in your ask. And so we'll be working on that. Jill and I have a meeting tomorrow at the AEA just on half a day on the budget. You working with ISTA?
ISFIS. That's how I say it.
Yeah. And so they have some nice tools and they have a lot of background information out, and so we'll do that. And then the 30th is the only board meeting in March. It is a little bit later. One is it was always hard to have that board meeting the Monday as soon as we get back from spring break, plus getting ready for that. And so, yeah.
And that'll be at Grissom. Yep.
And that will be at Grissom. Yes, correct. Yep. Yeah.
Okay, on last thing here, any board correspondence or comments from anybody?
Thanks for coming to the.
Oh, thanks for
Holiday Parade.
hosting.
Yeah, thanks
Yes.
for hosting. It was awesome.
It was a lot of fun.
We were the grand champions again at the supermarket sweep for the food bank for the basketball teams.
Yes, thanks for doing that, guys.
I would just say from ISB today, in our meeting, one of the things that we talked to with our executive director, D.T. McGee, he is going to go out and meet with the League of Cities and it's the county association, their board, and see whether we can have a unified board meeting between the three of us based on areas of common concern, property tax. So if we can get together and agree with something that, hey, we need to make certain about property taxes from the city standpoint, from the county, and from the schools, we're just gonna build our war chest a little bit better when we have to go to the legislature and say, listen, we understand what's going on, but this is how things affect
Like a united
these
front
three
with all
entities, so
the-
we're not in there, well, I gotta make certain that the city doesn't get the money, so the schools get the money, that we're going in there unified, so nobody gets Belmont's.
Good idea.
So I think that was a beneficial thing. Our board went ahead and agreed and gave D.T. McGee the go-ahead to meet with the other two boards and see whether they're willing to meet with us.
It's a good idea.
Really good idea, yeah. Anybody else have anything to add?
Sure. Just a little upgrade on the Maple Grove Circle up there on the hill. We now have 5 lots that are sold, and one house is just about ready to be occupied. And I approved the plans for myself and P&Z, Quentin Smith, for another one that'll start, I think, the second week of February, which is $800,000, which is like, never thought I'd see an $800,000 probably be retired before I ever see a house go up.
Ah.
Beat you.
Good
Good job, Shelley.
Good job.
Anybody else?
Great news.
Okay, could I please have someone read the motion so that we can go into closed session as a board?
I move to hold a closed session as authorized by chapter 21.51 of the I of the Code of Iowa to review or discuss records which are required or authorized by state or federal law to be kept confidential.
Second?
Second.
Okay, it's been moved and seconded to go into closed section. Roll call vote, please, starting with Frank.
Would I?
Eckhart, aye.
Dunn, aye.
Birdfeld, aye.
Pepe, aye.
Dittmer, aye.
Lindemann, aye. Okay, going into closed session.
No.
Thank you.
Bye, Ryan.
Thanks for being here. Brett's here now. Okay. Okay, so
You
board.
guys go in.
Yeah.